The story begins and we see a girl injured on an unknown island. On another hand, we see the main character of our story, Madison, who is a social media star and vlogger. And nowadays she keeps posting videos of new places. At the moment, she has come to Thailand on the demand of her fans. There is no one else to plan this trip but her friend John, because both wanted to spend some time together. But due to some work, John will come a little late. That is why Madison had to roam here alone. She goes to many places and takes some photos. She was stayed in a hotel in Thailand. The next morning, she was making a video of a product. But she was not interested in any work. Because of being alone, she repeatedly messages John to come here as soon as possible. John tells her that I am trying my best. 2 days later, when the Madison was in a bar, an old man came there, lured her for the same money. He tells her to go home with him. Madison feels very bad about this. Then she asks him to leave from here. But that old man remains stubborn. Then the second character of our story, CW, comes there. She is a resident of this place, and she knows a lot about this place. CW shames that old man and makes him run away from there. And seeing this, Madison is also impressed. This is how both of them started talking to each other, in which CW says that there will be a lot of people like this here. That's why you have to be careful. Now Madison tells her about John and how he cancelled his plan at the last minute. So that's why I have to travel alone. People think that we vloggers have a good life. But in reality, we have to work so hard. Here we also came to know that CW is a guide. And she takes the people who coming here to different places. Now CW and Madison become friends. So that's why CW asks Madison to travel with her as a friend and not as a customer. CW knows a lot of places that no one has visited yet. Then Madison also agrees, and then they sit on CW's bike and travel a lot of places and also make some good vlogs. Then they go to the club and eat food. Now after roaming around all the town whole day, they get tired, comes to their hotel. Today, the Madison was very happy because she was getting a lot of good reviews on her vlog, but her happiness changes in sorrow when she comes to her room. She saw that the door of her room was open and all her belongings, including her passport, were stolen. She gets very upset after seeing this. She tells the CW about this, who files a complaint with the police about this theft and gives Madison a form. By completing this, she will get a new passport, but it will take her 2 weeks. And she can't stay here for so many days because they're in America. She had to make a video for some brand, but she had no other way. At night, she talks to John about this, but he cares more about the money than Madison, which makes the Madison cry. John didn't ask about her condition even once and just worried about money. This makes her angry and she cuts the call by ending her relationship with him. Now she has to stay here for a few days. She is helpless. So she starts traveling with CW until her passport is returned. During this time, she uploads many photos and videos, on which she getting a lot of views. Meanwhile, she uploads a lot of photos and videos. She also tells CW to take some photos with her, but she refuses every time, because of which Madison felt a little strange. That's why she is not taking photos. Perhaps she is refusing because of the mark on her face. Thinking this, she ignores this matter. Now for the photos. One day CW takes her to her house, which was by the sea, and it was very beautiful. There CW tells that tomorrow we will go to a small island which is a little distance from here. It is very beautiful and very few people have gone there. Madison seems to think that maybe no one has gone there yet. Due to this, she will get good views on her vlog. That's why Madison agrees without thinking. Now, just before the sun comes up, CW takes out her boat and both of them go to that island. Meanwhile, Madison was also making a vlog, but she did not know that this decision was going to be one of the worst decisions of her life. So far, everything is going well. But the twist is about to come. Now, after traveling for hours, they both reach the island. There she sees a log on which 7 lines were drawn. Someone does this only when they counting their days. Madison asks CW, "Do you know if anyone lives here or is trapped?" "Well," she replied, "so far no one has come here. That's why this island is more beautiful." At night, they both light the fire and sitting in front of it, and start talking about themselves. But the next morning, CW shows her real face. CW leaves from there before she wakes up. But the story of Madison did not end here. In fact, now CW will Madison life. CW goes to her home and hacks all her accounts and changes all her photos into her own photos. She now wears Madison's clothes around everywhere. She shoots vlogs and makes photos with people. CW was now living the life of Madison completely, and she keeps posting on her accounts every day. But nobody knows anything. Now John is also very worried, because Madison did not call for so many days after the fight. However, this had never happened before. What did not know that Madison's phone was now with the CW, and she was ignoring all his messages. And Madison must have died by now. So now CW goes in search for her second victim. She had done this before with 4 other girls. Now she starts looking for someone else, who she easily finds. Now CW had caught the girl. She was a lawyer. The lawyer girl came alone to Thailand. And CW gets to know from her story that in which hotel she has stayed in. Then CW went booked room in the same hotel as lawyer and starts keeping an eye on her. CW also gets to know the lawyer's life and steals her keys from her bag. Then she did everything that she had done with Madison, by which the lawyer girl also become helpless. She also forced to spending time with CW for 1 day. CW took her to a big house which was actually Madison's house. But CW lied to her that it is her house. Here CW confronts John because he had the keys to the house as well. John had come to give a surprise to Madison. CW told him that Madison told me that she had broken up with you. On which John says that she was angry. Nothing like this can happen. The next day, John called Madison's phone, which CW answered in the voice of Madison. The thing that she did with the help of AI. Everything that was written was changed in Madison's voice. According to which John was told that now everything is over between them and I have left this house. But John did not go, because he was sure that Madison will definitely come back after a few days. When John told lawyer about Madison, then she told that all this has happened to her too. She talks to John about it and says that she feels something is wrong about CW. Now she was a lawyer and she keeps getting many such cases. That's why she starts keeping an eye on CW and she messaged with the id of the Madison on day 1. Then notification comes to CW's phone. With this she is sure that she had done something wrong with the Madison. So she decides to leave this house and pack her things and leave immediately. But then CW comes there and lawyer becomes as if nothing has happened. But then lawyer tells her that John has told me that the things that have happened to Madison. You have seen all those things with Madison. I'm not a normal girl. It is better that you do not mess with me. Otherwise my dad will find you and kill you. But CW couldn't let her go so easily. So she shoves the heel into her throat. With this, which lawyer becomes 5th girl, whom she put to death. Now, after hearing lawyer voice, John arrives there. But she erases all evidence before he arrives. John does not know anything about this. But John's talk and moves towards his room. After John's departure, she goes to his room, so that she can deal with him too. In the meantime, the notification of her phone rings, because just now John had posted a picture of himself and the lawyer, by adding Madison too, which becomes a big problem for CW. She does not want anyone to see her face. That's why she thinks of deleting that photo first, which is with John. The next morning CW tells John that lawyer had gone to her house, and during this time, Madison posts a photo in which she was with a boy. Actually, this photo was uploaded by CW. But John didn't know about this, so he gets depressed and thinks that maybe Madison really doesn't want to stay with him. Here she realizes that John has felt bad, so she gives him false comfort. However, John's eyes fell on some photos of Madison, whose quality was very bad and his followers were also decreasing. Then that night CW takes John to a bar. There she mixes something in his drink so that John loses his consciousness. Taking advantage of this, she comes home with John and deletes those photos from his phone. When John woke up the next day, he was already convinced that there was no point in staying here anymore, so he agreed to go back. That is, now the way for CW has been cleared. That day, she burns all the things of Madison, even her passport. John gets emotional about his relationship with Madison. When he met Madison for the first time, she was just an ordinary girl. They worked very hard together, and that's when she came to this place. But then something comes to John's mind. The same photo that he saw this morning. Madison's with that man. And there was a hotel behind them. He thinks that the Madison must have stayed there. That's why he goes back to that hotel. Here, he finds out that Madison had never came here. Meanwhile, we see the old man there who was bothering Madison. He looks at Madison's photo on John wallpaper and remembers his insult. And in some way, John and old man begins to talk, in which John finds out that the photos that Madison posted last time are actually fake. The old man tells him about that day when he saw Madison, and that's when she went with CW. After listening to him, John starts doing his research from there. When he removes the filter from Madison's face in a video, he came to find out that there was no one else but CW behind it. Then, he goes straight to the CW's house and starts waiting for the CW. John knocks her from behind and makes her unconscious. He ties her to a chair. When she regained consciousness, he asked her about Madison first, but she did not willing to tell anything. John then threatens her with the police. But here she starts accusing him that the police will catch you, because Madison had sent you the last message. But John still took her to the boat, says take him to Madison. CW does agree, but this was her plan. As soon as she come in the middle, she pushes John into the water and throws him. Yes, she suffocates him and brutally kills John. Then this means this girl is actually a serial killer. And then she comes home and posts from Madison's account that my friend John beat me and ran away with all my money, so that everyone thinks John ran away, not that he died. Then she also wears the ring which John had brought for Madison. Now the next day, she sees that the followers of Madison are also supporting her. But now this story is not over. His last work is still pending. A few days later she goes to the island to erase the evidence lying there. But there we see a fire burning, on top of which a fish was cooking. And there's a tent nearby. Now Madison is alive. As you and I were surprised. Even more CW is shocked and goes inside the forest to find the Madison. Suddenly, the Madison comes from behind and makes a powerful attack on his head, and then without wasting time, comes to the same boat in which he sees John's corpse. She felt very bad to see John's corpse, but she was saving her life. So she leaves from there. But we see that CW is not dead yet. When she comes to her senses, she starts laughing seeing the Madison going. Instead of being scared, she just laughed. It is clear from this that if CW knows the way to get here, then she is not so stupid. She must have figured out the way to go, and with this question, this story ends here.